Call the order of the meeting of the Planning and Economic Development Committee for June 5th, 2023. Please note the deputy clerk has taken roll and we have a quorum. First on the agenda is approval of the minutes from May 1st, 2023. Do I have a motion in a second, please?
So be.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Trickey and a second by Mrs. Bailey, or was it Mrs. Miller? Mrs. Miller. Okay, is there any corrections or additions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Minutes have been approved. Next, I present ordinance 27-23, a variance from side yard setback requirements, 9505 Plymouth Place. May I have a motion, please?
So made.
May I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Bailey and a second by Mr. Trickey. Can we have staff report, please?
Yes, this variance would allow an addition to be built onto an attached garage. This addition would end up being only 3 feet from the side property boundary rather than the minimum required setback of 6 feet. However, this is a lot at the end of a cul-de-sac, and because of how these lots are configured, there would still be about 40 feet distance from the nearest neighboring structure. Clear air and clear light would not be compromised with this variance. Staff recommends approval with the condition that the 3-foot side setback only apply to an addition on the southwest side of the home, not on any other side of the home. And the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval with that condition as well. And the applicant is present. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to address the committee?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions or discussions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ordinance 27-23 will go to the June 19th board meeting with a positive recommendation. Next is ordinance 28-23, a variance from parking requirements, 7864 Burden Road. May I have a motion and a second, please?
So made. Second.
I have a motion by trustee Stromberg and a second by trustee Bogie. May I have a staff report, please?
Yep, this variance would allow a reduced number of parking stalls at the new Athletes HQ indoor sports training facility on Burden Road. When this business applied for occupancy, they only had 6 parking stalls here, which was clearly not enough. According to our parking requirements in the zoning code, there should be at least 37 parking stalls here. And this is based on the health club gym use in our table of parking requirements, which most closely matches this sports training type of use that would take place here. However, people would not be packed into this facility the way they would be at a health club. There are batting cages and things in there that take up a great deal of the actual floor area, and just the way the business operates, there wouldn't be that many people there at the same time as a health club use. When staff spoke with the applicant about parking requirements and anticipated parking needs, the applicant agreed that it made sense to add onto the parking lot to accommodate a total of 27 stalls, but based on how this business actually operates, 37 stalls would be excessive. And staff agreed that 27 stalls does seem reasonable here. So we are recommending approval of this variance to require only 27 parking stalls, with conditions that this would require submittal of a civil site plan and a landscape plan. The expansion shall be completed by the end of September of this year. People cannot park along Burden Road or in the grass at any time. And if there's ever a building expansion or the use changes in the future, that may change the number of required stalls at that point. And the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval with those conditions as well. And the applicant is present.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to address the committee?
I'll just thank you for, taking the time to review this, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if anybody has.
Thank you. Is there any questions or discussions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ordinance 28-23 will go to the June 19th board meeting with a positive recommendation. Next is ordinance 29-23, text amendment to zoning code adding lighting standards to the commercial and industrial design standards. May I have a motion, please, and a second?
So made.
I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Bogie and a second by trustee Stromberg. Staff report, please.
Yep, staff and I think some trustees have noticed a need to beef up our regulations when it comes to how much light can be emitted from commercial and industrial properties. Our code now only says that lighting should be directed away from residential properties, so not to create a nuisance. This regulation is just too vague and too undefined to really be enforceable. So this text amendment proposes some lighting standards to be added to both the commercial design standards and the industrial design standards in our zoning code. These standards would only allow full cutoff lighting, which projects straight downward. This would apply to any lighting attached to an exterior wall or in a parking lot or any kind of commercial or industrial yard of any kind. The second standard would regulate the amount of foot candles as measured at the property line where there is adjacent residential zoning, whether it be single-family zoning all the way up to multifamily and mobile homes. At the property line of the commercial or industrial lot, foot candles cannot measure higher than 0.2, which seems to be a pretty standard limit when you have residential next door. The last standard is everyone to see a lighting plan for some uses when they are adjacent to residential at the time that we're reviewing all plans for issuance of a building permit. These uses are parking lots, car sales lots, gas stations, retail stores, restaurants, self-storage, manufacturing, or any other similar use where staff feels that it's appropriate and necessary. This plan would include a photometric plan and specifications for the types of fixtures that are going to be used. Just like all of our commercial industrial design standards, these standards would apply to new developments or significantly expanded developments only. We would not retroactively go back and require established businesses to change their lighting. But hopefully these regulations will prevent any future concerns from residents regarding light pollution from new commercial industrial developments in the future. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of these amendments. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Mr. Tricky?
Is there any way that we can make a motion to hold this over until our next meeting? I've talked to a couple other communities that does have the lighting to what they want, and I haven't finished talking to a few people, and I'd really like that before I vote done.
Okay,
Or unless there is some big hurry in this.
No, there isn't. There's
I would
nothing on the
love it.
horizon that we're trying to address here.
And I agree with it 100%. I would just love if we could put this off just one more meeting.
okay, so we have a motion to put this off until the July 10th meeting that we will have. Do we have a second?
So made.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a motion then by Mr. Tricky to hold this over till July 10th, and then seconded by trustee Kidd. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, ordinance 29-23 will be held over till the July 10th meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is reports. Does anyone have any reports? Seeing none. Next is public comment. Would anybody in the audience like to address the committee? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So be.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Tricky and a second by trustee Kidd. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you.